Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. So I fixed some, off stream I fixed some mobile deployment issues we were having. Normally when we zip our project into a .love file, I just zip it up and that's fine. But I realized I was zipping up all the hidden Git files as well before I would upload for deployment. So that was like bloating the file size by like 4x. So now that I changed my build script so that we exclude any Git files, any hidden Git files. So that at least got the build working again, but then we were having some issues because we were double checking our touch when we added baton here. Let me pull up the commit, easier to show than tell. Right here, when we had this double event dispatch going on the mobile deployment, because we were doing it on the old touch output list. But now that we're using baton for the touch handling, we don't need to do that, and it was redundant. So I took that out and it fixed all the issues once we realized how to zip our files better. So the web deployment is working, other than Bitzer, right? Other than saving and loading files, the web deployment is working okay. Like, I guess by the time we actually go and ship the demo for the mobile deployment, we have to do a kind of default save state, right? Where we say, if you game over, then when you continue, it's just going to load you at a very specific idle with your current inventory and max hearts and that sort of deal. So that people can continue from a new game, because right now continuing from a new game loads your last save, but if on the mobile deployment you don't have a save because you can't save using Bitzer on the WebAssembly, then we just need to add that functionality, because right now it's busted. But I'm not too worried about that. I do today, I've got to get going here at 5, so I can't program for too long, but today I wanted to get a couple of little things done. Like, we're rendering our, where do we call it, where we're doing the magic render? Right here. So we're rendering our cast bar and our focus indicator. This is all the this is the HUD that goes on for your magic. But basically I want to do a couple of things, like see how it's on screen here even though we're not casting, and it blocks some of the dialogue. So if there's an active dialogue box, we're still seeing the magic render, and it updates too, as it's updating while I'm inside the meditation kind of dialogue box. So I would like if we can get it to fade if we're not using it, but also disable it indoors. So like not only disable the render, but I don't want us to be actually casting magic if we're indoors. So I don't know of a way we have right now that can handle this, because right now, and we have to change, how our magic's being rendered too, because right now it's just on a button press, regardless of what element is equipped. So ideally we can, we're going to have to lock these because we don't have these other elements for the demo. So we have to lock the selection, or or just have it like grayed out where you can't really actually select it. But yeah, we have to figure out, we don't have a way to prevent spellcasting depending on what scene we're in. So maybe we figure out the render first, and then I particularly don't like the idea that once the HUD is off, once the magic I need to come up with a name for it, just like the magic HUD, when that's off, we shouldn't be able to cast spells, right? So we would need something in the current scene that says like magic free zone. And if it's a magic free zone, then pressing A doesn't do your mana stuff. So we'd have to kind of assign that based on the scene view ID, or we could do it upon a warp zone change, because most, I guess all indoor locations are part of warp zones because they're not adjacent scenes. So we could add it to the warp zone that says once we warp to a place, then let's swap that scene's magic free zone or magic allowed boolean to false, so that we can't cast magic. But also we would also have to say, I kind of think of it as like, if our focus indicator is 0, we should fade to transparent, right? If our focus indicator is greater than 0, meaning we're actively trying to cast magic, then let's fade in our magic HUD really quick, and then anytime it's at 0 for longer than a second, it'll fade away off screen. Because then if we walk into here and we say, okay, well now it's a magic free zone, focus indicator goes down, it would fade away, and then pressing spacebar wouldn't increase our focus indicator because it's a magic free zone. So something like that. And then we can also, I don't know, because it's almost like, we're also doing the spellcasting here inside a dialog box. So it's weird because we have, we might need to move our magic. All this stuff right now is just sitting in the playstate, but maybe we have to move it into the player class, because once we talk to a dialog box object, we pause the game, so it stops updating our player as well as the entities. So if we were to put the magic stuff inside the player class, then at least we couldn't update it. It wouldn't change over time as we're in a dialog box, which is a pretty big deal. And then also, maybe we need like a switch to like fully disable the magic rendering. But I guess if we move this so it's on the player class, then when we do a dialog box object, it renders above the player. So maybe we can get away with that. So part of me thinks we just have to move all this magic system into the player class, and then also worry about getting it rendering only if we're actively casting, sort of deal. So I don't know exactly how to do that. We'd have to move all of these magic specific calls into the player update. But it's weird because we have, it would have to be the player update, because regardless of what state the player's in, either idle or walking, that we need to do this. So it would be in the player update, I think. And then we also need just noticed our Pokemon guys aren't on screen. What the heck? We messed this up. How do we mess this up? Okay. There we go. Okay. There we go. That's a big old Rayquaza, man. Holy crap. That's a huge Rayquaza, man. Holy, that's nuts. Okay, so you know, we need to figure out a way to kind of trigger the global opacity for the magic rendering. So when we do this, you know, like if we call this magic render, we need to set these colors to a value that has an opacity that we can program, right? And then we can say yeah. Okay, so I think let's pull out. It looks like these are simple enough, so we can just code with a plugged-in value. So let's. For now, I'm going to leave it in the playstate, but we'll probably need to pull it out into the player class. So I'm going to call it Magic HUD Alpha or Opacity. We're going to say it starts off at 0, but basically, yeah, we need a way to kind of trigger, because if we think about it like a little bit of a state machine where it's like, if focus indicator is greater than 0, we need to fade up to a black and then, or fade up to a 255 out of 255 and stay there. And then if it's at 0, then we need to fade from 255 down to 0 and kind of clamp it there. So I guess what we can do, we have this focus indicator X, and we can say if the focus indicator X is greater than 0, then we want to increase our magic. It's actually not even a self object, it's a magic HUD opacity. We're going to say it gets bigger by delta time multiplied by some value. I'm going to say just 3. And we're going to say that if it's greater than 0, we're just going to increase that value, and we're also going to clamp it here. We're going to clamp it to the smaller of two values, one of which being 255. The other is that growing value. And then basically, if the focus indicator X is smaller than or equal to 0, then we need to fade it down. So we're going to say, well, this way would be, we're going to clamp it to the higher of two values, one of which being 0, the other being the updated magic opacity subtracted by this same scale. So subtracted by delta time times 3. Then when we go to render these things, we need to explicitly give the magic HUD opacity right here as the alpha. Can we do that? Divide by it? We should be able to do that. Okay. And then, you know, for black it'd be 0, 0, 0, and then magic HUD opacity out of 255. Green 0, 1, 0. Magic HUD opacity. And then white would be just a 1, 1, 1 with the magic HUD opacity. So let's see if this gets us this fading in magic bar. So we don't have a magic bar. If we go to cast a spell, it is very, very slowly fading in. You can see that it's slowly, slowly fading in. So we need to scale our growth rate for the magic HUD opacity by about, what, 10 times? Maybe more than 10 times. So here, when we do this magic HUD opacity, we're gonna replace this 3 with maybe 30. Let's see that. Still way slow. Because delta time is scaling, delta time is a 60th of a second. So if we times it by 60, then over the course of 1 second, it would go up 1 point. Is that right? No. Yeah. Over 1 second, it would go up. We just need a bigger number here. That's actually pretty perfect. So it fades in, probably be a little bit faster. I like the fade out. Yeah, I think a little bit faster, especially on the fade in. So maybe when it's greater than 0, we can scale it by a faster rate. So maybe 400. Let's see. The fade in is pretty good. I still think a little faster. I like the fade out. Let's speed up the fade in a bit. So I like it because it's like if your focus indicator is still, oh my gosh, how did this guy get so screwy? Oh, it's because we're running at 300 frames a second, and he's just going crazy. We must have accidentally set his. Yeah, we need a. Oopsie. Yeah, I still think it should be a little faster. Should fade in really quick. And then fade out. Oh. Well, now our magic is going off. The instant it's not a successful spell cast, we don't even see it. We don't see it fade anymore. Because we changed the render for the spell cast. Yeah, successful cast range. This should have remained untouched. So 500, 300. What did this used to be? This used to be a cast bar render successful cast range was just green. How? No, this isn't right. This is, you know what? We might have to set it to white right after this because yeah, I think that's the only thing that's screwing this up. Because this is just the HUD. This doesn't have to do with the spellcast entity or anything. So I think we might, let's see, look, when we get to the spellcast entity, we might just need to, you know what? I don't know where that is. Let's just try setting it white right after we've done this. We've got to go through and clean out all the unused code in here because it's getting very bad. But we're just going to set it to white once we're done so that we don't have a lingering color of a magic HUD opacity on there. I don't know if that'll fix it, but Let's see. Yeah, we're still not fading. It's like if it's a successful cast range, let's at least change our frame rate, right? So like let's go enable VSync in our conf. Okay, well we're at 60 FPS now. Okay, that looks like it gave us back our fade in. So we must not be scaling the spellcast entity based on the frame rate, based on delta time. So we need to fix that. But the fade out now looks a little too slow. Fade in could still be a little faster. So let's try this. Let's do a 400 on the fade out, 700 on the fade in. Still think faster. Should fade in really quick. There we go. I like it that quick. And then the slow fade out is fine for me, but yeah, I want it to fade in quicker. Sweet. So now you'll only see that HUD if your focus indicator is active, meaning you recently pressed the button to cast a spell. So I guess the move now is to try to move all this magic out of the playstate and into the player class so that it would render under. It would do two things. It would render under a dialog box like this, but it'd also stop updating. Because right now, see how it's updating and it just got drained, even though no time has passed. You can see the particle system is still paused, so this should be paused too. So I think we want to move it, but it's not so it's a little messy how we have it in there. So we might just have to go slow here. But I think for right now, I want to commit while we have the fade, and then we'll work on the second part. And then let's get diff. We added VSync. We added a magic HUD opacity to the player class, and all we're doing is rendering the magic HUD at the magic HUD opacity. Cool. So yeah, this is going to be a commit saying magic HUD opacity based on focus indicator X. And then I want to say magic still in play state. Okay, we'll get push that, and then we'll get going on the next step. So here in play state, we're going to look for, we're going to look for any value that has to do with the magic. So this minus timer, vibrancy can be in the play state, I guess. I don't know. Minus timer, magic HUD opacity. So we're looking for anything that's registered with an input pressed A or action, actually pressed action, because that will be any of our magic stuff. So here's dialogue detection, which is okay to stay here. This is in our inventory class. This is in our dialog box. This is okay. We're looking for the play state one. So right here, this is in our play state. This is for dialogue detection though. So where is it? I don't even see where we're actually casting the magic here. So it's based on a successful cast, right? So it's got to be in the play state on action press. It has to be somewhere in here. Maybe not, because I don't see it. Let's look for successful cast. Okay, and that looks like it's in the scene and the play state. Yeah, any update we do to our focus indicator X. So this is a lot of our magic stuff. Okay, this is weird. I grep searched it, but apparently it missed it. But this is it. This is all the magic stuff. So yeah, we have to change this to make it work with the new baton input handling, because right now we're asking if the button at index 1, basically if the A button is pressed, which we're already doing in input down, so we might be able to get away with taking that out. So let's do this. This is our magic. So let's just take this. Where? Okay. I think it's all this. If not shifting, do all this stuff. Where's the end for this? Right there. Okay, then we do a successful cast. Check. So I'm going to delete this out of the play state. We're going to go into the player class, and we're going to put it in the player class. So let's just do it last in the update in the player class, and we'll say this is magic casting. We'll keep it spellcasting. And then yes, if our scene is not shifting, then if our input is down, we're gonna we could change this to self. We could keep it as is too, but we're looking for a self unfocus, a focus max, unfocus growing. We need all these values to be initialized, as well as this local modest timer. We don't need this anymore. So let's go one by one and make sure we pull all of these references. So we need, Flama Vibrancy is part of the player, so that's okay, that's good. We need Unfocus and Focus Max from the play state. So let's go back to the play state. I already forgot what it's called. Focus Indicator, Focus Max, Unfocus, all this stuff, and also all the Monas stuff. So we will add this to our player class. Okay, so in the init for our player, we're going to define all this magic stuff. Monas Max, Monas Drain, Monas Regen, Focus Indicator X, Focus Max, Unfocus Growing. Those have got to be the weirdest things I could have named them. Okay, we need a modest timer, and a successful cast I feel like is global, but we need this modest timer from the play state. Yes, and the Magic HUD opacity. So we'll pull that. We'll put it in the player class. We'll do it not a local variable, but a member on the class itself. Okay, so Monus timer. So any reference to Monus timer in our player needs to now be Monus timer. This needs to be replaced with self.monus timer. Okay. What was the other thing we changed? We changed a Magic HUD opacity. So wherever we do the Magic HUD opacity, which is still in our playstate render, so we need to go snag that. Let's go snag the magic render. So we'll come in here, steal all this. Go to our player class. And in the render, we'll just add the magic bar here. Okay, I don't think we need to set this white after. Yo, what up, Salto? How's it going, homie? Okay, any magic HUD opacity needs to actually be self.magic HUD opacity. Okay. And then I guess we just have to make sure that our playstate doesn't have any reference to the focus indicator X or anything like that. That it was outside of the update logic we just brought over. Okay. Because yeah, we changed, you know, this is okay. These are all globals. This is global. We move this into our class. So all these should function the same. Let's just see. Let's see if it works. No. Playstate 460. There's got to be a reference to focus somewhere. 460. Yeah, focus indicator X in our update we still need. So we'll delete it out of our playstate, go back to our player class, and we'll put it right here. Actually, I want to put it this. I literally just put it right back where we pulled it from. We're gonna take it out here, go to our player class, put it in the update after our successful casts. Okay. Let's see. Shit. We're crashing at 345 on player. That's because this needs to be self magic HUD opacity. Okay, so far so good. Let's see if our magic bar comes up. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we oh shit. Oh no, it's because of the dungeon top level tiles. Shit. You know, there's some reasons we had it. You know, but that's great. Like, the dialogue box is... Okay, so, like, this is two good things, right? So, when we talk to a dialogue box, we just left it where our focus indicator X was in the successful cast range. Now the HUD is not rendering on top of our dialogue box, which is bueno, but also... it didn't update. It left us in the successful cast range. So it's pausing, effectively pausing the game while we do that. So that's good. But we need, we either need, yeah, you know what? I say we just get rid of, man, it sucks. I don't know of a way to do this, because it's like we have these bats coming in from the shadows. right? So like they have this little top level gradient. Now we had added that gradient all around our tiles here. So if we look at the top level layer of our dungeon, we added this gradient here so that if the bats fly out, when the bats fly out, then they fade into black. But that's actually going over our HUD. I like, well, let's see, because also the other issue is actually when the bats are spawned, they actually have a different render order layer, because they need to render under the top level tiles, but they need to render over them once they're cleansed, because if they didn't, they would render under the doorway here. If they happen to fly off towards a doorway, that would render over them. So we actually don't need these anymore. We'll need them for the actual bat holes, but we don't need them for the sides anymore. Oh, I messed that up. But yeah, we should be able to take it out of here, and it shouldn't affect much of anything. Actually, there's a hole right here, so we do need it right here. So we'll add the 3 right there, so that when the bat is flying out, he's flying out of the shadows. But once he's cleansed and out, he'll render on the top level tile anyway. So let's just see if there's any other part of the map here that needs that. That looks right. Oh, we don't. We have some unnecessary ones up here. That's not a big deal, but it's unnecessary. This one. Okay, this is all looking right. Yeah. Okay, that all looks right. Other than right here, I think I want these on the above ground. I think I don't want the double chasm. I think I just want the bottom edge. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's export this global map and we'll see. Everything looks like it's working though. It does, yeah, it makes more sense to have the magic tied to the player for the update, as well as the... What the heck was that? What is that render? What? Oh, it's the top level tile. Shit, the top level is covering our HUD there. Shit. Yeah. Damn it. We have to add this. We can't add this to the player class because it's like the player... God dang it. Because the player has to go under the top level tiles. You know, we could add a whole nother row of truly top level tiles. Like we can have one that goes just over the player, but then we have one that goes... I don't know how we would do it. But this is not right. You know, it makes sense we kind of had it in the player. So maybe what we can do, like maybe what we do is we have all these values defined on the player and the input defined on the player, so it still updates like normal, but when we go to render it, no, that can't quite work. Well, no, yeah, we could, because we would just render it at... Yeah, maybe this can work. So if we go to the render for this, we are doing it based on a self. We would just do it based on the player. So it looks like we could be able to take this out of the player class and instead go into the play state and render it here. That way, it'll render on top of the top level tiles, but whenever we do this self, we have to reference the global player class. Boom. Okay. If that works, that would be nice. It would be real nice. Yes. Okay, it works there. Fuck. And now it renders over the scene transition. Oh man. Well, where's our scene transition? Because we are rendering this a little low. You know, we would render it right after we render our scene, because we have a game over, we have a credit sequence, we have a black transition, so it needs to be after this or before this. So we render our player, we render our HUD. Let's see, we render our loot state. Jeez. Okay, I guess as long as it's before, you know, it has to be after our HUD, but before our transition. So let's put it right here. Okay. Let's see. Nice. Yes. Oh, great. That's perfect. Okay, and then so it now it fades out, so it doesn't get in the way. If you're not spellcasting, you get more screen real estate, right? But as soon as you start pressing it, it's fully visible before you really need to time it. And then it renders under. Oh shit. See, it should render under here. Yeah, because we're rendered. Yeah, we need to render this if there's no active dialog box. So, you know, if there is an active dialog box, let's see here. I think if there's an active dialog ID, right? So is that on here? Active dialog ID. Let's just print this up and see what this is. We're gonna print up toString an active dialog ID, and we're gonna see if this gets nullified. I'm pretty sure this gets nil if there's no active dialog box. So if that is true, then we can maybe do some conditional rendering based on that's nil ability. So it's nil, 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 and then it's not nil. It is nil. Cool. So we should be able to say for the magic render here, we should be able to say, let us only render this magic, you know, do a conditional. We'd say if the active dialog ID soup's favorite does not equal nil, then we want to go ahead and render magic. You can blame the Brazilians for that one. I don't know where they got the tilde from. Okay, and now we are not seeing any of our magic spellcasting. And we see it only in the wrong spot. So if it is equal to nil, we want to render our magic. Yeah. that was for your not equal to nil. Your love of tilde equals for not equals. Okay, this is working perfect. So we've got the fade, you know, it fades if the focus indicator is positive. If we have a focus indicator, it renders under the dialog box, but it also renders under the scene transition, but it also renders over the top level tiles. Sweet. We need to work on scaling the bat's logic based on delta time, because that was screwed up. I'm just gonna play the game here just because I want to. So Yo, thanks for the bits, homie. Yeah, dude, I think of you every time I see it now. Because I know how much you hate it. Oh shit, oh shit. Oh no, we have to reset, we're gonna die. I played this game, I know that we would have died there. Oh shit, oh my god, oh we gotta reset, we're gonna die. If you break a crate in this level, you're dead. And if you don't beat Normie Bat, then you're probably screwed too. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose. Yeah, I think we kind of need Normie Bat to be that fast because he can't block any speedrunners unless he's that fast. That one's pretty rude, not gonna lie. Okay, well we did it. It only took us 4.5 hearts on our own game. You know, the demo, I might just give them full hearts for the demo. Dude, yeah, look at how crazy. Soup, have you seen these guys? If you let these guys get out, look at how fast they kill you. Like, they'll, oh my god. Their rate of spitting is crazy. It really is that hard. If you do it in the wrong order, oh gosh. If you do that end part, it's I'll show you why. Like, so like I wanted it so that if people were to speed run it, you'd take at least 2 hits of damage. So I have these bats that like multiple bats flying out of there, and then the whole goal of that last scene is to force the player to not break any crates. Like that's the idea of the level. Like, if you break a crate, then you're probably going to lose that level. So I like that we start the dungeon off by saying, hey, you have to break this crate to get through, and then you can learn how to push them. And then there's this room here, you cannot break a crate. So if you don't push this crate and block these bat holes, 3 of them come out and they have like quintuple spit rate at you, so they'll kill you really fast. So you're supposed to block them right off the bat. But if someone wanted to get smart and just come this way and be like, you know what, I'm gonna break this and just run for the exit, those guys catch you and Normie Bat comes out. Oh god, they're gonna kill me. Oh no. Oh my god, there's too many. That's the whole goal of this level, is like you're not supposed to let any of the bats come out, basically. So it's like, you know, it's I'm okay with speedrunning. It's just that, like, for this particular room, the whole goal of, like, it's like the culmination of this dungeon, right? Because this is the dungeon where you get the pushing tunic, and that has to do with crates, and crates have to do with, well, you can either strategically break them to get through, or you can strategically block bat holes. So like here in this room, if you break this crate, you unlock the bat hole that it was guarding, and now you have to deal with like 3 bats. So like this whole dungeon is about strategic crate use. So the last room of the dungeon is specifically about, hey, if you break the crates in this level, you're in for a bad time. If you play nice and you use the crates strategically, then you only have to kill 1 Normie Bat, and he's not that bad. So like, if we can get, I'll try to do it the right way. I mean, you have to know what's up in order to be successful at it. Like, it's gonna kill so many people the first room, because if you have to push this, and I think it's fairly easy. You know, if you walk in and just look at the room, it's pretty apparent you have to block this bat hole, because if you just wait here, 3 of them come out of that hole. So you're like, okay, well, the first move I'm gonna do is push this, and I did a kind of naughty thing, putting a freaking pit right underneath there. So if you push it at an angle, you can survive it, but most people will come in and push it and just fall right in. Now you can juke it. You can push it and then not. You can juke it by pushing, but not holding down any longer than it has to. So I was able to not fall in there. But the goal of the level here is you have to push this crate over here to block this next bat from coming out. You can kill Normie Bat, and then you have to set up these two crates before the other two fly out, and then all you have to worry about is Normie Bat over here. But if at any point in time, like I just did there, I block that hole, or I break that crate, then it becomes harder because the bats fly out. But if you do it right and you block the crates, you have plenty of time to get out. So it's half about, it's not really about punishing them for doing it fast. It's more so to be like, I'm gonna make you play this level how I wanted to, just so you can see, like, the goal of it was to show that I wanted to design a room specifically that if you break a crate, you're going to have a bad time. So that's why this one is like that. And coins right now are only for healing your hearts over here at the inn. So we're going to we've got the inn over here, and it says gems, but it should say, like when we talk to this guy, it says a bed costs 5 gems. It should say coins. So he said a bed costs 5 coins a night, and this will be like the one in Mage's Castle, the bed here. So you can tuck yourself into bed, pay him 5 coins, and he'll heal you up to full hearts. So we also want to have, right now, every time you break a crate, there is a coin inside, but we want it to do maybe 33% chance it's a heart, 33% chance it's a coin, 33% chance it's nothing. So there will be a way to get hearts. It's just that if you have some coins and you need some health, you can go get full hearts over here. Now, yeah, the other store we have is going to be the refinery, and that's, I don't know if you've seen this yet, Soup. Have you seen the minerals here in the dungeon? We've got rubies here in the cave, or in the dungeon. So you can harvest them by popping them out of their socket, and then you get the ruby minerals. So the other store, you take these minerals to the refinery, right? So there's going to be a new character we got to build soon, and she's running the refinery, and she accepts, she's going to be up here. She's going to accept these rubies for elemental upgrades. So Dungeon 1, for the demo, we only have the fire spell. So if players want, they can go and just go farm some rubies to get the elemental upgrades. And I'm trying to decide. I think right now it'll just be a spellcast entity upgrade, and it's just, instead of one fire circling around you, it's multiple ones, which can make it harder and easier. It'll make it easier for you to defend yourself, but if you're trying to not break crates on a certain level, it could be harder. But if you're always just wary about your, how far the radius goes around you, then you can play it safe. So it's a net positive. But I'm kind of thinking it's maybe we could either change it so it's instead of getting another spellcast element, maybe it gives you, double damage or double knockback or something. Yeah. Well, right now the coins are capped out at $9.99, but I like where you're going with that. Yeah, you can just get a bicycle, and it's you can. It's not even any faster than walking. It's just It's just like you on a bike going as fast as walking. Nothing else is different. It's just he's on a bike now. You can ride it indoors even. Okay. Yeah, we do need... This is good. I'm glad we got this done. And we do have the vibrancy there next to the element. What else do we need? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That would be so rude to make it 1,000 coins and cap it out at $9.99. That would be so evil. Because, I mean, I know, you know, in Link's Awakening, there was a little crane game. And you can play the crane game for like a... If you were good at it, you could profit like 20 rupees each time. As long as you didn't, like, screw up the timing. So, like, the first thing in Link's Awakening, you can walk into the store and see that there's a freaking bow and arrow for 980 rupees or whatever it was. So I literally just went to the crane game and then just farmed the rupees. You know, I would just sit there and slice grass to get coin. And then when I had enough coin, I'd go bet it all at the crane game. And if you get the Yoshi, you can sell it for like 120 or whatever. So like you can profit like 20 or 60 rupees every turn if you nailed it. So I would just sit there, and then I got the 980 rupee bow and arrow, which was dope. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, busking. That would be fun. Yeah, maybe you could go find, like, instead of equipping a tome, you would just literally play it yourself. And then, yo, I like that idea. That's funny. They just throw money at you. It's hard because in the story, everyone hates the magic users right now at the beginning, right? So like we don't have much of that in game just yet, but basically all this purple water is because of the magician's magic, right? So mage's magic made it all purple and corrupted, and that's what's blocking the villagers from accessing other parts of the island. So everyone's going to be complaining about the corrupted waters, and also they're going to be complaining about Mage being the one who did this. So I think I like busking. I think it does have a place. I think it's just once the place is cleansed, then we can do it, you know? So it's like that's the whole goal of the demo, is to cleanse the opening area and open up the main biomes to the real game. So, you know, the opening game is like this much, you know, maybe like 12, 4x4. Yeah, so like maybe this 16 screens here or so is the demo area. And then we do need to make a, you know, Soup, that was always the dream. But I don't think, you know, that's why I spent so much time on the mobile deployment, is so that I can play it in my pocket, you know. So I tried, you know, I spent a lot of time trying to look up, like I even got this little Linux handheld gaming device, thinking that I could port Love games onto it so I can play it like a Game Boy with tactile buttons and everything. But the OS it runs doesn't run Love2d. So it runs Linux, but it's like a very specific Linux that doesn't let you download and run executables and stuff. So I'm hoping, you know, I mean, maybe there's a handheld in the future that can handle Love ports. I know Sasquatch was saying that he has one that did accept a Love build, but it crashed. So like he got it working, and then it broke. But that's the reason I spent so much time on the mobile deployment, so that I can show people it on their own device or on a pocket device, which is really cool. But I'm missing the buttons. I really want the buttons, because touch, just the touch, it doesn't feel good. Like it's not the same. You can't feel that you're moving diagonally. You can't feel that you're moving only down. It's just like you have to look at what the player's doing. So I do want to fix that eventually. I actually looked up if there were little tactile touch buttons you can like stick on your phone, so that you can like actually press it, and so it's like a real button. I found some that were like little joysticks, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll do soup. Well, I streamed the first like 300 episodes or so on Linux. So like I was mainly using Linux. It's just that once I went to streaming, I couldn't get stable streams with Linux. So I had to switch to Windows if I wanted to use my Stream Deck and to have just non-droppy streams. Remember, my streams used to crash all the time. Yeah, and the only thing I pinned it down to was Linux. Okay. Well, we got a lot of good stuff done today. I know we need to make a new character for the refinery. Like if we have to quantify what we've got done, or what we still need done. Yeah, and Soup, I'm with you. Like I would do it if the Stream Deck worked on Linux, and if I can get stable streams. If I would still be on Linux. But it's just such, it's just like more things you have to wrestle with, that development is already about constantly wrestling with stuff, and then for your operating system to be another thing you have to wrestle with just to get to work was just too much for me. So, but if you don't have to stream or anything, like you should be able to pull it off. Yeah, my issue was it just wasn't stable streaming. It really sucks. Yeah, it really sucks to have to fight the OS. In terms of getting this demo ready in 10 days time, 13 days time, we have to, we've got the loot system synced and everything. I just need to go and manually transcribe the melody and get the timing right. I didn't think that would be a good episode today of me sitting there trying to find the right notes and stuff. So I'll probably do that off stream. But once we have the loot song ready, we need to make a warp zone out of the finished dungeon that takes us to a screen that has a treasure chest with the first tome in it. And then we need to make, thinking about like the hardest stuff that's next. I'm not too worried about the refinery. The refinery, we just need to make an NPC. We already have a dialogue box we can give it. And all we have to do is basically, once you talk to, we can put the orbs on the counter there. And if you talk to the orbs, it'll say like upgrade Flama element for 40 mineral pieces or whatever, and then it'll say yes or no, and then if you hit yes and you have the proper pieces, then it'll say, it'll increase your spellcast entity count, it'll deduct your ruby piece count, and then it'll say congratulations, you've got upgraded Flama to level 2. And then if you hit yes and you don't have enough, it'll say sorry, you don't have enough. If you hit no, it'll just exit the dialog box. So I'm not worried about the refinery. If I want to make it look, I want there to be like a little furnace, like a furnace that she like refines the minerals in. So that might be hard to draw. The next hardest thing is probably once we play the loot song on a certain scene, right? Because it has to be like it's going to be a little riddle that says like, I I don't fucking know. Some play this song. I don't know. It'll be a little riddle, and we have to make a scene that makes sense for that riddle to be at. And then, what is UTM? Yeah, I don't know what UTM is. But yeah, I think we're going to make like a little tree, and it's going to be next to a bunch of these corrupted waters. Oh, gotcha. Okay, no, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. I just don't know what it was. I don't know what UTM stands for. I have messed around with that to do some virtual machines. So yeah, I guess, yeah, man. I mean, we still got a lot of shit to do. Because if let's say we can get the loot done in 2 days. Let's say we can get the refinery done in 2 days. Let's say we can get... Yeah, I mean, we'd have to do... That puts us at March 24th. And we would still need the whole cinematic for the loot. That would take us at least 2 days. So that puts us at the 26th. And then we need new overworld sprites. Like we need to do Mage's Castle and all the new overworld sprites. Maybe some new NPCs that just say why they hate the mages, or you know, give some stuff like that. God, we have a lot to do. We have to block off the biomes with the particle systems. I don't think that's too difficult. Yeah, because we can draw some invisible collidable map objects and just make it so that they can't walk into the desert because there's just too much. You know, we'd have to move the particle system into the map instead of the playstate, but we can figure something out. For the desert at least. And then what else is left? You know, we have a shitload of polish. A lot like what we did today, which is like, let's just get the magic not rendering in the wrong spots. We still need the magic not rendering on certain scenes. Like if we're indoors, we need to prevent spellcasting. Yes, it will be soup. That is the goal. Yeah, that's the goal. So we've got yeah, once the demo's locked and loaded, we'll do Linux, Mac, Windows builds, as well as the web deployment build. And then at that point, I'm going to stop focusing on the web deployment because I just run into so many issues that don't exist on an actual mobile build. So like iOS or Android, I'm not having the same frame rate issues as I am on the web build. But actually, now that we fixed the big thing is saving and loading, right? I can't figure out how to save and load on the web through Love.js WebAssembly. I don't know if that's possible, and I don't want to spend a ton of time figuring it out. You know, like the game's gonna be free on GitHub and it's gonna be cheap on Steam, so people can always do. You can kind of do a fixed step soup. For the most part right now, it is fairly fixed at 60, but there is a way you can kind of like manually fix it to be what you want. But it can't make it faster. You know, like the issue was it was running as fast as it could and it was still at like 30 FPS. But that was also with a bloated my freaking .love files were like Was it really? I mean, that makes sense. It was pretty smooth. It wasn't... Yeah, I guess I'd believe that. Yeah. It was pretty smooth. But it also depends, like, not everything updated at 60 FPS, right? Like, so only certain things would. So yeah, I think once the demo's locked in, we have to also make some better overworld art. Right now, this is all the placeholder art that we have in the minimap. You know, we don't have a... Gosh, there's so much to do. There is so much to do. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of just pick and decide what's most necessary, right? So we need the little cinematic for once we clear the starting world is going to be a little tough because 59.7. You know, because right now we're drawing a global map with these purple tiles for the water, but once we play the cinematic and cleanse the biome here, they need to turn blue, which we don't have a easy way to do that. We don't have an easy way to change the ground level tiles or the animatables. I guess, well, we could write a little script to go and replace every tile ID equal to a purple tile ID to be the starting animatable for a blue. But I'm trying to think of like how we would do the little animation for it. Like if we're doing like a little cinematic, how we would do that. Because I kind of wanted to do them all in game. I guess it could be as simple as we pick the scene with the corrupted waters and the loot, right? And maybe one other scene, and we do like we play some music. It has purple water. It fades to black. We do that little script that overwrites all the animatables purples into blue tiles, and then we fade back onto screen so that you can see that they're now blue, and then do that on maybe one other scene, maybe Mage's Castle, because there's a lot of purple around there, and then does the same thing. So it's like once you play the loot song right, then it'll trigger this cinematic that plays some music and fades the water, and then yeah, I guess, and then that would be the end of the demo. So we do just have... I do want people to be able to walk into the dark cave here. So we do have this dark temple. Right now you can't go inside of it, but I think I want to dump the player in there, because the idea is once you have the yellow tunic, you can go in there and you can see around you. It'll light up a radius around you once you have the yellow tunic, and that's more when we figure out shaders better. But I do want you to be able to go into the dark temple. It warns you, there's a sign there that says like, hey, don't enter here without light, but I want them to be able to go in there and then get hit by bats that they can't see down there. You know, it's coming together, Soup. Yeah, it's coming together. It just kind of is there, you know. You know, I actually don't think I have many notes. I've got a little sheet of the biomes and the enemies in each biome, but that's about it, I think. Like all the story stuff is kind of just in my head. but yeah, we're gonna have boars in the forest and ravens in the ice mountain, and we have scorpions in the desert and magma bats in the volcano, and then we have like normal corrupted bats in the dungeon and geckos as well in the overworld. You know, I used to have that would be so cool to make a little game guide for it. That would be so cool. That would be a really cool like wrap project, you know, just to make like a little 10-page game guide for it. That would be really sweet. I don't know what Tex is. No. Okay, I mean, I think it's doable. I think it's doable to finish by April 1st. You know, I think as long as we have the refinery working and the loot triggering a cinematic of any sort, I think it'll be good enough to consider like we hit our goal by April 1st. And then I think because we shouldn't rush the demo, right? Because like this is gonna be on Steam and people, you know, so like I'd want to pass around the executable and have people play test it for some bugs before we like finally lock it in. Oh, I'll have to check it out. Oh, okay. Oh, I've seen something like this before, or maybe I'm just thinking of... I know I'm not thinking of Pure Markdown. I'm thinking of another thing that was like it. This is gonna drive me crazy. I gotta look it up real quick. Wow, I guess it was Markdown. I guess Markdown's more powerful than I give it credit for, because I thought there was this book I was looking at and it looked really pretty and it was all on GitHub. And I guess it really is Markdown. Yeah, maybe we could... That would be a fun project. Maybe we can add a site to the website that is a little official game guide. That would be cool, dude. That's a great idea. I really like that. That would be... Yeah, I say we can plan that out. Well, you know, once we're wrapped on the game, it'll be a nice, like, take a break from programming project and just do a cool little side project. Because I'm with you. I always loved looking at that stuff. So that would be a real treat to get to make it for my own game. Because yeah, there's a lot of lore that isn't explicitly said, so it would be cool to kind of fill in some of those blanks and stuff. But yeah, so I think if we get, as long as we get the loot song being able to be played, you know, we give them like three or five strikes of wrong notes for the loot because it's tough to play. As long as they hit no more than 4 wrong notes or 5 wrong notes on the loot song, and they're at the correct scene for the riddle, right? Because like once you open the tome, you can read the inscription and it says a little riddle, and you have to equip the tome to get the sheet music, and then if you play the music correctly on the right scene, it'll trigger the cinematic that cleanses the corruption in the waters for the opening area, and it'll also tease you about an opening for the ice mountain for the first or the forest. It'll probably be the forest because the forest is the more immediate biome surrounding us, so it'll probably just play a little Zelda like dungeon, you know, like when you unlock a secret in Zelda, it has that little jingle. I want to make something similar to that, where it's like an unlock secret sound, and it shows you the screen for the forest that you can now reach now that the corruption waters have gone down. It unlocks a new bridge to go walk deeper into the forest. And that's where we'll find the first boss. Is going to be a boar boss. And yeah, man, there's a lot of shit to do. But this is really fun. It was really fun to do the dungeon design. So it'll be fun to do the rest, because it's like we've got all the pieces of making the game. Now we just have to make the game, So it'll be fun. It'll be really fun. But yeah, it's a lot of work. We got a lot to do. I feel like pretty good shape for April 1st, at least to get like all the major things of the demo are done, and then we can take a week or two or whatever it takes to get people to play test it and try to break it, so that we can publish onto Steam a really solid build of it. Because I don't want to just say, oh, it's April 1st, we got to send it off to Steam. I want it to be, it was good to light a fire under my ass to get it done, but we need to make sure it's fairly bug free, mostly 99% bug free by the time we submit to Steam, so that everyone's first impression of it is hopefully good. If it crashes on them on any of the ports, it's going to really suck. So we don't want any game breaking bugs like that, so we'll have to have some play testing, I think. Ooh, it's a lot of work. Yo, thanks, Soup. Yeah, I'll be sure. Yeah, I'll do the iOS build. I've been messing with that, making sure it works at this point, and it works with the new touch input system. So the iOS build is something I'm pretty excited about. It would be cool. Maybe we can even get the demo on the Apple Store as a iOS app, which could be cool. And then that kind of like gets me learning how to submit stuff that way too. I don't know what that entails, but we could probably figure it out. Cool. So yeah, I've got to get going here. I'm gonna meet a friend for some dinner tonight, but let's commit and then we'll call it a night. Yeah, that's kind of what I figure. Like, I didn't think it'd be a smooth process, and that's why I love that it'll be on the web, so anyone can just go to tashio.dev and play it. It does, I can't full screen it as easy on the web as I can on the actual deployment. I might mess around a bit with the web deployment and see if I can get the full screen working. I don't think I can though. I'll have to try some more with it. Okay, we've got in our get diff here. Did we? Oh my gosh, what did we change that much? Okay. So we moved our magic system into the player class. So now it only updates when the player updates, which makes sense. But we're rendering it in the playstate so that we can control the render order layer so that it is over top level tiles but under dialog boxes. So that's the big thing we did. But that was also the second commit of our day. The first one was getting the fading of our magic HUD on and off depending on if you're actively casting or not. So good day overall today. I will work off stream on getting the loot song actually built out. I just didn't think that would make an interesting stream, so didn't really do it today. Let's say that this is, move magic system into player class and render magic in playstate. Cool. So yeah, we will call it a night. Thanks for hanging, y'all. I'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully we get some more good development done. Let's find someone to raid out to. Let's see. Yo, we'll raid out to Finn. He hasn't been live when I've been ending for a little while, so we'll raid out to Finn. He's always working on some cool stuff. He's a nice dude. But oh, let's run credits. But yeah, I will call it a night. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's crazy. It's starting to feel real. You know, we're on the road to the demo. It'll be fun. Once it's on Steam and we get the Steam page up, that'll be epic. That'll be so cool. Actually, it won't be epic. It'll be Steam. I don't like epic games. But we'll raid out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you all have a good night.